I got back home for summer break, and it wasn't just a new house waiting for me, it was a whole new set of rules. Mom had married Jack Reeves a few months earlier, and now everything around us belonged to him. The mansion, the furniture, even her, in a way. Dinner was already set when I walked in. Jack sat across from me, chatting easily with Mom while I picked at my food. Then his eyes landed on me. "How'd your semester go, Lily?" he asked. His voice was steady, calm, but there was an edge to it that made me sit up straighter. "Fine," I said, taking a quick sip of wine to dodge more questions. Mom beamed, oblivious. "Jack's got a surprise for us. We're flying to the Dominican Republic." I froze, the glass halfway back to the table. "When?" "Day after tomorrow," Jack replied, swirling his whiskey like it was no big deal. "Thought it'd be fun to keep it under wraps." I set the glass down harder than I meant to. "A trip. With him. 2 days from now." My stomach twisted, but Mom was already gushing about beaches and sunsets. Jack just watched me, his expression unreadable, like he was sizing me up. I forced a smile and nodded along, but my mind was racing. This wasn't my home anymore, it was his, and I was starting to feel like a guest who'd overstayed. The rest of the meal passed in a blur. Mom kept the conversation light, asking about my classes, while Jack leaned back in his chair, chiming in now and then. Every time he spoke, I caught myself listening too hard, trying to figure out what was behind his words. He didn't push, didn't pry, but his presence filled the room in a way I couldn't ignore. After dinner, I offered to clear the plates, anything to get a breather. In the kitchen, I ran the water hot, scrubbing harder than necessary. The clink of glass on glass steadied me. I needed to shake this off. He was just Mom's new husband, nothing more. But when I turned to grab a towel, he was there, leaning against the doorway. "Need a hand?" he asked, holding out a dish I hadn't noticed on the counter. "I've got it," I said, keeping my voice flat. I took the dish, careful not to let our fingers brush. He didn't move. "You sure? You've been quiet tonight." "Just tired," I lied, turning back to the sink. "Long drive home." He nodded, like he bought it, but he stayed there a second longer before heading back to the dining room. I let out a breath I hadn't realized I was holding. It was nothing. He was just making conversation. Except it didn't feel like nothing. Later, I unpacked in my old room, except it wasn't mine anymore, not really. The walls were the same, but the vibe was off. New curtains, a rug I didn't recognize. His money was everywhere. I dropped my bag on the bed and checked my phone. A text from Mom popped up. "Excited for the trip? Jack's been planning it for weeks." I didn't reply. Instead, I scrolled through my feeds, trying to distract myself, but my eyes kept darting to the door. It was cracked open, just enough to see the hallway light flicker. I got up and shut it, locking it for good measure. Then I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the handle. No one knocked. No one came. But I couldn't shake the feeling that this trip was going to change something, and not in a good way. The next morning, I woke up early. Mom was already bustling around, packing. I found her in the living room, surrounded by suitcases. "Jack's taking care of the flights," she said, barely looking up. "You should pack light, beach stuff mostly." "Where is he?" I asked, glancing toward the stairs. "Out getting a few things. He'll be back soon." She smiled, folding a swimsuit. "Isn't this great, Lily? A family trip." "Yeah," I said, grabbing a coffee mug from the counter. "Great." I stepped outside to the porch, needing air. The driveway was empty, his car was still gone. For a moment, it was just me and the quiet. But then I heard the engine.